guys, it is Tanya and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. This one's a little odd because there's some items that are already on the lot when I started it. This is a build I did over on Twitch over the last week or so, and the whole concept was I'm only going to use base game and we're going to play around with debug and see how we can get inspired by some of the items that I pulled out and go from there. So I had pulled out this fence, those rocks, some trees, and this ends up being a relatively large 3-bedroom family home in a more mid-century modern style. And as I had mentioned, it's only using base game. So yay for that. It should be easier to download if you like how this came out. So anyway, it ends up having a little bit of an interesting layout where you enter on the second floor, which is where the kitchen and dining is, and then downstairs is where all the bedrooms and the living room is. Also over here by the stairs to enter into the house, I end up making kind of a tiered garden using some of these planters from Show Live Edit Objects and framing it in with some more rocks and lots of greenery. I had a lot of fun with the landscaping on this lot, and it takes a while for it to come together, but there's a lot of rocks, a lot of Show Live Edit Objects plants, and there ends up being a pond out front as well using the fountain tool, I think is what it's called. I always want to call it a pond tool, but it's not a pond tool. We don't have one of those in The Sims 4. We did have one in The Sims 3, and I know a lot of people want one back in The Sims 4, but for right now, all we have is fountains, and yeah, just kind of framing in this area a little bit more. If you're wondering why there's a gravestone, when we were grabbing things out of debug in the beginning of the stream, I just jokingly grabbed the gravestone and I forgot you couldn't delete it. The only way to get rid of it easily is to go backward. I think you could also just put it in a room by itself and delete the room and it'll go away. However, I thought it was a bit of fun to include it, so there's just a random gravestone on this lot. I hope you enjoy it. But anyway, figuring out some more of the roofing here, there ends up being a garage at the end that is converted on the inside to not be a garage because I sometimes actually include garages that have garage-like stuff in them, but for the most part, they end up being more so just renovated into something else since we don't have functional cars in the game or a lot of the things you might put in a garage. So this one ends up being where the living room space is in the house. But obviously you can renovate this house to your will and change it however way you want or whatever way you want if you download it, and it is available on the Sims 4 gallery if you search Gryphi or the hashtag MsGryphi. Anyway, the back of the house here, we're adding a little bit of a balcony upstairs. There ends up being quite a few outdoor spaces here, so there's plenty of space for whatever you'd like to add or do or entertain. You could totally put a pool somewhere on this lot if you wanted to. I was thinking it would probably be on the back deck, which you'll see a little bit later. But I didn't end up adding one to this lot because I really just liked the one water feature to be this pond in the front that we are adding right now. It's just using the fountain tool, and then I framed it with a ton of rocks from Show Live Edit Objects to make it look like it fit in a little bit better. So I mentioned that this house is base game only and that it has 3 bedrooms and some of the other things that it includes, the weird layout and all of that. But I didn't mention that this is located in Newcrest on the lot Twin Oracle Point. You can see that in the top left of the screen. Usually it's the correct lot name. Occasionally I have moved things around and the lot names changed, but today it is correct. And if you were interested in grabbing this and you don't use money cheats and the price of the lot matters, it comes in at approximately 146,000 simoleons. So this is an expensive one, which I think was a little bit obvious because it's really big. It's a really big house. I've done a lot of houses that are 3 bedrooms as well, but are much smaller than this one. It has a lot of land. It has a lot of outdoor space. And the living space inside is very spacious, so it's a little bit of a different vibe. It's something different. I just used that word, but different than what I normally do because I feel like there's a lot more open space here, and I tend to like to put things closer together and make really comfy, squished houses, whether that's actually a tiny house or just a family home that's a little bit more on the cozy side, as I had mentioned. So this was a nice change, and it was really fun to build this over on stream with you guys. I'm having a blast streaming over on Twitch. We've been really active there lately, like 3 to 4 times a week. We're live building and chatting for like 2 to 3 hours. And yeah, so if you guys are interested, I will have links down below to my Twitch channel, and as well, every stream this was part of has been uploaded to my second channel as well. If you'd like to watch the VODs back, that is an option. Those will all be linked down below. But anyway, we're figuring out where the front door is going to go now and some more of the windows. We should be hopping to the inside of the house here shortly, I think. Obviously have some more landscaping to do though, because there's a lot of it, because this is a big lot and I like landscaping, so I always go a little overboard. So working on the floor plan now. Some of this stays the same and some of it changes. The main thing that changes is these secondary bedrooms downstairs, because I tried to fit it in better so it didn't have as many awkward hallway spaces and fit a bathroom. But we're up in the kitchen and dining space now. We're not fully decorating these right now, I don't think. For a while, I had just put down some placeholder furniture so we could figure out where each room was going to be and make sure it was spaced out properly. And this is where I'm coming across the realization that there's so much empty space down here I'm not sure what to do with, and that we can make the bedrooms bigger and kind of utilize the space better. So that's what we're working on now, and figuring out that the garage space is actually going to be where we put the living room, and kind of making a makeshift closet over here, as well as a couple of different bathrooms. I figured if you only have base game, the closet's just a decorative option, but if you have Get Together, you could swap that out for one of the walk-in closets that you get from that game. Those are handy for not only changing your clothes and planning outfits and all of that fun stuff, but you can also woohoo in them, so they're a fun item to have in your builds. But this is the kitchen. I went with an orange color scheme in here. I thought it was a bit of fun, and since we were doing more of a mid-century modern style, I thought that was something that fit really well, and I thought the wallpaper just was so perfect for it. I love the pop of orange with a little bit of blue, and I also mix and matched the countertops here. So we have the more basic plasticky looking ones, and then these hardwood top, more industrial ones as the island piece. I thought that was kind of fun, and it brought some more color in. I also turned one of the cabinets around and sized up some shelves to make the the cabinet area, I don't know what to call it, a little bit more interesting. And then over in the window space is where we're going to be putting the dining table. But first, getting some glitter on these shelves, made sure to put the cookies up on the top shelf so nobody can snatch them. And this table, I don't know if I ever knew that this swatch existed on it. It's really bright, but I liked it, so we ended up going for that. And then just having white chairs all around. I did switch them out for the ones where you could see like the wood grain in it, as I thought the other ones were a little bit too stark of a contrast. Over here is going to be the upstairs bathroom, and there's going to be a desk space right in front of it so that your Sims have some place to go and use the computer. I'm always trying to make sure we have somewhere in a house for your Sims to use a computer. I think it's more important than TVs in houses, but this house has 3 TVs in it, I think. No, 4. 4 TVs? Yeah, I think it has 4 TVs. So there's this one right here. This isn't the living space. It's just a small lounge space. I thought that would be nice to have near the kitchen and dining. Then there is a little bit of a lounging area outside on this balcony. And then the bathroom up here only has a tub. I feel like this is more of the decorative bathroom. When you have company come over, they're probably hanging out up here, you know, having a meal, and nobody's going to be taking a bath. So you have the pretty bathtub, and people are probably just coming in here to use the toilet anyway. So I had a little bit of fun with this one. I have the greenery going up the wall. I know I have the candles there, and that's probably not safe because they would just light the greenery on fire. But we're going to pretend they're fake candles with that fake flames so that we're all good there. But down here, this is the master bedroom. I knew I wanted this to be the master bedroom because it has its own private balcony that's kind of hidden away on the front of the house. I also used the same trick that I used up in the kitchen of turning some of the cabinets around to sort of frame the bed here. I was thinking originally I was going to have this backsplash of this fence piece, but then I ended up making it mirrored. But if you don't like the mirrored backsplash, if you delete that, there's kind of a cool backsplash back there anyway, which is kind of a weird word to use for a bedroom. I normally use the word backsplash for a kitchen, but you know what? We're using kitchen cabinets in here, so it's fine. It's fair game. But this room is pretty simple. I think this is most of what's in it. We have the stand-up mirror, a closet, and that's pretty much it. Moving on into this bedroom, this is a shared toddler and baby room, and I tried so hard to make this toddler bed that everything's base game, but I consider this to be the Jungle Adventure toddler bed because they added this to the game for base game with Jungle Adventure, so you could travel with that. I think it's one that you can put in your inventory, but it has patterns that coincide with that pack, and it didn't match. No matter what I tried, I wasn't liking it, so we went with this one that matches this wallpaper perfectly, and this room is like a mixture of blues and purples, and I just thought it was a bit of fun, like a lot of the decorations in here. I think both of the kids' rooms I build here are very colorful. I had a lot of fun with them because, well, this is a base game wallpaper, and I feel like it's a pretty common one to use in kids' rooms. For some reason, I don't use it that often. I think it's because when I think of childhood, I didn't know anyone that had wallpaper like this. It was always like, oh, we just have the plain white walls. Maybe we'll have like that little trim at the top of the walls. I don't know if you know what I mean. It was like, oh, I always forget what it was called, but it was basically wallpaper, but it was less than a foot long, and it just was at the top of your walls to give the top a little bit of pattern. Like, I think my sister had butterfly ones. I don't remember. I had one, but I don't remember what it was. But nobody had wallpaper like this. Also, I just talked over it, but we have bunnies peeking out from behind the toddler bed, and there's bunnies all over that room. It's very bunny themed. I quite liked that. But this is going to be the shared kid/teen room. I'm not really sure. And it's very, very, very blue and red. And it was so much fun just using such bright colors in these rooms because, like I said, I don't typically do that. I kind of decorated one side of the room for a sim who really likes reading and more geeky stuff, and the other side is somebody who's really into music. So I did swap out the swatch on this bed for the guitars and end up adding a guitar over here as well. It was a fun one to do. It's a little out there. It's a little bright and colorful. It might not be up your alley, but it was fun. And sometimes it's nice to step out of your comfort zone and play around with color a little bit more. So there are two dressers in here. One is red and one is blue. I have the red and blue backpacks and a bunch of clothes all over the floor. I did imagine these Sims were probably a little bit messy. And of course, adding some posters. And I at first put down the acoustic guitar, but I swapped it out for this electric one instead. And then adding a bookcase. And I believe there ends up being a TV, like a radio. I don't know what to call it. I would just call mine my stereo. As a kid, I guess it's a stereo, like a big bulky stereo that probably has like a 5 CD changer in it. I had one of those as a kid. It was my favorite thing in the whole world, and some CDs up here as well. And I think that's it for this bedroom. And I think we're going to be like working on the hallway apparently, but then should be going on into the living space. I did try to make these swatches on the couches work because they have a little bit more texture to them, so they're nice in that way, but they're a little bit bright, so I ended up using this beige swatch instead. And this room ended up being too big, so in a little while I will be splitting it off. So there's a half wall that was built at some point because this is supposed to kind of look like, you know, it used to be a garage and we converted it and made it have more space. So the wall that the garage is on still has all of like cement and stuff. And then we're going to have a half wall breaking up the space a little bit more. So when you first walk in, you are in the living room space. And then there's a half wall dividing into an area that has like the kids' toys. It's like a not fully separated, but kind of separated playroom. I thought that was kind of a fun idea and helped so this room didn't feel so massive and empty. So that's what we ended up doing, just adding some plants here and some of these framed posters on the wall. I mentioned this in the stream, but for some reason, when I'm building a family home, I feel like these need to be in it because I had them in my house. We had like a big poster that I don't remember what it was, but it was like a picture and then black frame with the white text underneath. and it was above one of our fish tanks. So I feel the need to do that. But anyway, this is the playroom type area. We have an older TV, some cute kids seats, some playthings like the toy box and one of the dollhouse castles. And then I think we're just going into finishing touches now, just hopping around, adding some pretty lights in here over both the kitchen and the dining space. This is the balcony outside of the master bedroom. I decided to add another lounge chair as well as some flowers, a like weatherproof rug I was thinking that was, and an easel as well. That could be a nice place to do some painting, and just adding rugs and decorations all around in places that we didn't. I didn't end up decorating the other 2 bathrooms on camera. Actually, when I'm recording this, I haven't decorated them at all. I'm gonna do that before I upload this to the gallery, but they're probably gonna be very, very similar to the one upstairs. I figured it wouldn't be too interesting to watch. But yeah, when you first walk up the steps here, I wanted to add a picnic table. I think I moved the trash cans to somewhere else later on, but I was placing them down here so I wouldn't forget to add them. And covering up that last bit of fence that was sticking out the back. Ooh, there's a hot tub on this lot. So outside we have a grill, a nice place to sit, as well as a hot tub. I feel like we add something else out here. What else did we add? Other than decorative things. I feel like there's something else functional, but I could be wrong. But there does end up being monkey bars out back as well. Oh, the chess table. That's what we added. I wanted to have a decent amount of skill building items and just activities for your Sims to do. So I think we achieved that. But anyway, I can't believe it. We're about to be coming to the end of the video. This is a much longer voiceover, so I'm surprised how quickly that went by. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'd love to have you join us. And if you click that bell, it'll turn on notifications so you'll be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Just finishing the landscaping here, and then we'll pop into screenshots. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.